Yeah, this is vital tutorial. In this video, we'll be considering the above question. The question is the cube root of 24r raised to the power of 6 plus the square root of 9r raised to the power of 12, everything raised to the power of minus 1 times the square root of 160 r raised to the power of 2 plus the square root of 71 r raised to the power of 4 plus the square root of 100 r raised to the power of 8, everything raised to the power of what? Minus 1 all over 2. If you know you can try this, you can pause the video and try this, and if you can't, let's learn it together. Yeah, I will be starting with this part. After this part, I will try to simplify this part. After I simplify this part, I will try to simplify this part, then I will multiply whatever I get here and here to get that. So I'll start with this part. Solution. So this is what is going on here. Cube root of 24r raised to the power of 6 plus square root of 9 r raised to the power of 12, everything raised to the power of minus 1 is the same thing as you having the cube root of 24r raised to the power of 6 plus. But if you look at the square root here, if you look at this, if you have the square root of s, the square root of square root of s is the same thing as s raised to the power of what? 1 all over 2. I explained this in my previous video doing indices, so you can check that. So here it will be 9r raised to the power of 12, everything raised to the power of what? 1 all over 2. So here it will be the cube root of 24r raised to the power of 6 plus, if you look at 9 can also be written as 3 raised to the power of 2, 3 raised to the power of 2, r raised to the power of 12, everything raised to the power of what? 1 all over 2, which is equals to, if you look at this, power with times power. I told you about this in my previous video. A raised to the power of m multiplied by n, a raised to the power of m raised to the power of n. This is nothing but what? The power root m times n, which will give us n. So this is what we'll be using here right now. So this is the cube root of 24r raised to the power of 6 plus 2 times 1 all over 2. 2 times 1 all over 2 is 3. 2 times 1 all over 2 is 1. Then 3 raised to the power of 1 is what? 3. 12 times 1 all over 2 is what? Is 6. So r raised to the power of 6 to the r raised to the power of 6. So which is equals to the cube root of, as you can look at it, this is 24r raised to the power of 6, this is 3r raised to the power of 6. They have the same what? The same terms. So here is the, what is here is the same thing having, is the same thing you having 2s plus 5s. 2s plus 5s is nothing but what? 7s. So to not be confused, so to be 24r raised to the power of 6 plus 3r raised to the power of 6 is nothing but what? 27r to the power of 6. So which is the same thing as you having 27r to the power of 6 raised to the power of what? 1 over 3. When you have the cube root of s is the same thing as s raised to the power of 1 over 3. I hope you are following. So here, and as you can see here, that 27 can also be written as what? 3 raised to the power of what? 3 raised to the power of 3. So it will be 3 raised to the power of 3, r raised to the power of 6, l raised to the power of 1 over 3, which is equals to 3 times 1 over 3 is nothing but what? It's nothing but 1. 3 raised to the power of 1 is still what? Is still 1. So 3 raised to the power of 1 is 3. 6 times 1 all over 3 is what? Is 2. So r raised to the power of 2 to be r raised to the power of 2. And as you can see, we are having minus 1 here. I forgot to put that, so this one will be minus 1 to the power of minus 1 minus 1, and this one will be what? Minus 1. So, and don't forget that I told us this in my previous video in indices. So this minus here, anytime you see minus in indices, negative in indices, it just means 1 all over. Then you'll be left with s and 1. That means that s raised to the power of 1 is what? S. So this is nothing but 1 all over what? S. So here to be what? 1. This minus will be what? 1 all over. Let me write it here. It will be 1 all over. Then everything here to the power of 1 will still give us 3r raised to the power of what? 2. So that is all about this part. So this part, we're looking at this other part. So it means that this what is here is still the same thing. You'll be starting with the inner part as I did here. So we'll do the same thing right here. So this is the question here. 160 r raised to the power of 2 plus the square root of 71 r raised to the power of 4 plus the square root of 100 r to the power of 8. So everything to the power of minus 1 over 2. So the same thing. This is square root of 100 r to the power of 8. So it will be like this: 160 r to the power of 2 plus the square root of 71 r to the power of 4 plus, as you can see, this is 100 r to the power of 8. Then don't forget that this is the square root. It will be r raised to the power 100 r to the power of 8, l raised to the power of 1 all over 2, just because of the square root, the way we did here. So you can see this. So this will give us nothing but don't forget this minus 1 over 2. So, and as you can see again that this is 100 can also be written as 10 to the power of what? 2. So this will be 160 r to the power of 2 plus the square root of 71 r to the power of 4 plus this 100 will change to 10 to the power of 2 r to the power of 8, l to the power of what? 1 over 2 to the power of minus 1 over 2. So power will times power again. So this will give us nothing but 160 r to the power of 2 plus the square root of 71 r to the power of 4 plus 2 times 1 all over 2 is 1. This will be 10 to the power of 1, which is what? 10. 8 times 1 all over 2 is 4. So this will be r to the power of 4. R to the power of 4. So this will be raised to the power of minus 1 over 2. So as you can see, we can add this together: 71 r to the power of 4 plus 10 r to the power of 4. So this will be the square root of 160 r to the power of 2 plus square root of 71 r to the power of 4 plus 10 r to the power of 4 is 81 r to the power of 4. Everything to the power of minus 1 over 2. So as you can see, this 81 also can also be written as what? 9 to the power of 2. Yes, 9 to the power of 2. 9 times 9 will give us 81. So to be 9 to the power of 2. So which is the square root of 160 r to the power of 2 plus 81 r to the power of 4. Everything to the power of 2. This minus will change to this. I hope you understand the same way we have been doing. So this will be 81 r to the power of 4, 83 to the power of 1 all over 2 to the power minus 1 over 2. I hope you understand this. So this is 81. 81 can also be written as 9 to the power of what? 2. 9 to the power of 2. I'll be writing this there. So this will be square root of 160 r to the power of 2 plus, this is nothing but what? 81, which is 9 to the power of 2 r to the power of 4. Then you close your bracket, everything to the power of 1 all over 2. Everything to the power of minus 1 over 2. So power with times power. So this will give us 160 r to the power of 2 plus 2 times 1 all over 2 is nothing but what? 1. 9, this will be 9 to the power of 1, which is still what? 9. 4 times 1 all over 2 is 2. So r to the power of 2 is r to the power of 2. So into this one is to the power of minus 1 over 2. So 160 r to the power of 2 plus 9 r to the power of 2. So this is 169 r to the power of 2. 169 r to the power of 2. And 169 is to the power minus 1 over 2. This is the same thing as 169 r to the power of 2. Everything to the power of 1 all over 2. And this one will still be raised to the power of minus 1 over 2. I hope you are not confused. For you not to be confused, let me use another color for this part. Color chalk for this part. Minus 1 to the power of 2. So I should note that this is 169 r to the power of 2. This because of the square root that is how we know your s. The square root of s is the same thing as s to the power of 1 all over 2. And as you can see, this is 169 r to the power of 2. Because of this square, we change to what? 169 r, everything to the power of 1 all over 2. So, and as you can see, 169 can also be written as 13 raised to the power of 2. 13 raised to the power of 2. 13 raised to the power of 2, which is 13 raised to the power of 2, r raised to the power of 2, everything to the power of 1 all over 2. Then everything again raised to the power of minus 1 over 2. This is in our question. We haven't touched it. So this is 2 times 1 all over 2. 2 times 1 all over 2, which is what? 1. 13 raised to the power of 1 is what? 13. Then 2 times 1 all over 2 is 1. R raised to the power of 1 is still what? R. Everything raised to the power of what? Minus 1 all over 2. And as you can see, this is minus. I told you that minus is nothing but what? 1 all over. 1 all over. 1 all over. Then we'll be left with 13 r raised to the power of what? 1 all over 2. So here, I told you before that the square root of f is the same thing as what? S raised to the power of 1 all over 2. So if the square root of s is equals to s raised to the power of 1 over 2, it shows that s raised to the power of 1 all over 2 is the same thing as what? Root s. If a is equals to b, then b is equals to what? A. I hope you are following. So we have 13 r raised to the power of 1 all over 2 is the same thing as that's what I say now. The square root of 13r raised to the power of 1, which is what? The square root of 13r. So this is 1 all over what? The square root of 13r. I hope you are following. So this is where we will end this. And as you can see, we are not done with the question. The question says multiply this by this, but we have just simplified this. When we simplify this, it gave us what? 1 all over 3r square. 1 all over 3r square. And when we simplify everything here, give us 1 all over what? The square root of 13r. Square root of 13r. So for us to complete the question, that shows that we will multiply this by this. So I'll do that here. So means that everything here is just 1 all over 3r square multiplied by everything here is just 1 all over the square root of 1 all over square root of 13r. So 1 times 1 is 1 all over 3r square and square root of 13r. Yes. I would love to leave the answer like this, but we can still do some things here. Yes, I think we can still do something. Okay, instead of leaving the answer like this, let me do something. This is the same thing as 1 all over 3r square multiplied by 13 raised to the power of r, everything raised to the power of 1 all over 2. I hope you understand this. So this is 1 all over 3r square multiplied by 13 raised to the power 1. This is 1 times this will give us 1 all over 2, and 1 times this will give us r to the power of 1 all over 2. So as you can see this, we can apply the rule of indices here, the rule of indices. So I would like to clean this part. So this is 1 all over 3r squared multiplied by, don't forget, this is 1 all over 3r squared. Now you can also write it as r squared times r 1 all over r squared times r to the power 1 all over 2 multiplied by 3 times 13 raised to the power of 1 all over 2. So which is 1 all over power with, when you have a raised to the power of x multiplied by a raised to the power of y is the same as a raised to the power of x plus y. So we add the powers together. 2 plus 1 all over 2, 2 plus 1 all over 2. Finally, 2. 1 goes in 2 is 2. 2 times 2, 4. Plus 2 goes into 1. 1 times 1, that is 5 all over 2. So this one will be r raised to the power of 5 all over 2. And this one will be 13 raised to the power of 13 raised to the power of 1 all over 2. This one can also be written as 3 root 13. So you can write the proper answer as this. So the answer can be written as 1 all over 3 raised to the power of 5 all over 2 root 13. So I'll leave the answer like this, and guess what? We are done. Yes, that is the correct answer. I hope you enjoyed this. Thanks. I remain your beloved tutor, Jeru.